Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long time coming. It's been a long warm-up and a few server changes, but we are here with NiP versus Space Soldiers. Another elimination match for you today. And, well, joining me today, I think as some of you will have already seen in the chat, seemingly quite a big NiP fan, we've got Harry.
Yeah. No, actually, I'm a huge fan of both of these teams, Tom. You know, I mean, Space Soldiers I've loved from the beginning, as I have NiP. NiP break my heart though on a day-to-day basis. They're a shadow of their former self. They don't have Flaren, who is my favorite player. And ever since then, it's all just gone downhill. You know, Draken's been the kind of driving force trying to pick these guys up, but anyway, we can get back into that. The pistol round going to be underway anyway, as we can see NiP over on the CT side. And already that nade going to find a nice bit of damage over towards long. No waiting around as they push up in through mid. Good damage done to the players over towards long. And already this round's going to be going terribly. Major's worked his way into the backline. Fireberg's double back round, just going to decapitate him. So the flank does get eliminated for the time being. They take that man advantage, but now the push going to be coming out through long.
Got a couple of close players as well. Got to be a bit careful. Already, well, 3 players actually towards the site, but 2 of them so very low that they could easily be taken out of this round. And by the looks of things, that's exactly the way it's going to go. Calyx with 2. Trade will come out over towards that ramp position as Draken has managed to get himself 1. And there's decent positions at the moment, especially with Freiberg on that Tech 9. Hits the instant shot onto Despae and another onto Zentaris. That's ridiculous. Bringing it down. He's got to try and do a little bit more, though. Calyx on the site, just trying to hold him in. Will be able to get another for himself. Already on 3 kills in this round. Looking for Draken. Finds him as well. Only Forest remaining. And he may just be able to ace this round. Do it all himself. But he doesn't have armor. He's low on HP. There's no kit on Forest, so he will have to make his move. Doesn't know where his opponent is. Flicking to his head, and Calyx gets all 5 players. That's ridiculous. What a start for Space Soldiers, and what a start for Calyx.
All you need to counter NiP is Calyx. He picks up the ace in the pistol round. A phenomenal start for him. And an amazing start for Space Soldiers overall. Might have had to watch his comrades die around him, but he does pick things up. The force spike going to be coming in from NiP to try and take one straight back. But they've got to be feeling mortified on the back of that initial loss. And now we can see the bomb. 5 players over here towards B. Get Right is alone over in middle with a smoke in hand, just biding his time. And Space Soldiers were looking like they were going to try going straight on in, but they do want to check this properly. They know that NiP are going to be force buying these pistols up, so don't want to fall prey to any sort of stack in towards this B-bomb site. You can see they're actually going to be sending Major back to watch any aggression out in towards mid. Now, Get Right is here, so potentially we could see the push come in from the lone Swede, and it would be counted very, very quickly, thanks to having Major in this forward position. Already, the spray down over towards Plaz. They want to try and push on out. Get Right's going to smoke off mid. Now if he tries pushing on through, there are players here to shut this down. Major's just biding his time. Paz is rotating on round to try and help out as well. But right now, Space Soldiers just taking things slowly, waiting to see if they can find any sort of advantage before they commit to one of these sites.
Calyx is going to help his team take over drop control, something that is always a big part of this Space Soldiers side. They enjoy drop. Zentaris has become the king of it in the past, and Walt Freiberg, he's trying to do his best to get some extra damage done with the pistol, but he's unable to at the moment. There's already 3 players on this site. The one thing that is a bit worrying at the moment, though, is the time left. There's only 30 seconds. They will have to clean up these players quickly, but they will. Everybody gone in a matter of seconds, and NiP are not going to convert that second. But I do want to say that if you actually notice in that round, they didn't invest that much into it. I think they're clearly saving for the utility. Forrest maybe not so much. He's just bought himself a second eagle, but something big, especially on Cobblestone, just the stopping power of those nades, and going into your buy round without them can mean that this sort of even SMG buy can just rush you down and finish things off very, very quickly.
Yeah, and this time Space Soldiers are going to be charging over towards this B-bomb site, and NiP have actually made the decision to stack everyone over towards A. So they will be able to get this bomb down entirely for free and then just go hunting with these SMGs. Now, if you think about it, Tom, it was unthinkable at one point in time to not have NiP in the major. And now as we approach this, potentially we might not even see them make it through to the minor. So there is a lot going on here when we look at things, just in terms of the kind of legacy of NiP. Now, in this round, they're just going to be mopped up by the rifles. We do actually exist, find 1 onto Paz, but Zentaris is here, going to get himself 3. Draken going to just decapitate him there stylishly with the PT-54. Despae does pick things up. So actually, they lose a couple of players more than I think they would have liked, but you know, for the most part, it was just those players on SMGs. They get a nice bit of money on the back of it as well. And now the buy is going to be coming in from both sides. Ultimately, it's quite decent for NiP. They've got Draken up on that AWP, which is exactly what they wanted when they did go for that second round save. Then we've got rifles across the board. Nice bit of utility as well. So this is everything they're going to need to try and find themselves the first round here on the CT side.
Aggressive stuff from Paz, straight out onto the plant. He's not stopping. Exist is gone. He lasted 15 seconds in that round, and Freiburg is about to follow. Zontara has mentioned that king of drop is just gone. And, well, now it's down to just 2, and look at this. Zontara is in from behind, ruining the round already. Draken is just out of this. He's got to find a pick very quickly. Has the opportunity, but Zontara is too quick on the trigger. Big start from him, and I think the scariest prospect at the moment is the fact that clearly already Calyx and Zontara's are here and ready to play.
Yeah, and that's terrifying. I mean, if I was NiP, if there was one map I wouldn't want to face Space Soldiers on, it would be Cobblestone. I mean, when you consider the fact that they already lost on Cobble to Red Reserve, the old Passions lineup, 4-16. Space Soldiers are a team that are incredibly well versed on this map. Zontara is someone that we've christened the king of drop because of his ability to use this just to such devastating effectiveness. I'm going to look to see him do that yet again as him and Calyx try to push on through. The Molotovs just raining on in as things get hot and heavy down in drop down. 3 players for NiP stacked up here with 2 from Space Soldiers. Now making their way towards long. In comes Zontara, the king of drop. Takes the head off Freiburg, trying to get more work done. Draken can offer himself up. Forrest does get the trade. But then there's Calyx, the fresh prince of drop down, coming on in to back up his loyal highness. Gets himself that trade. And now it's all on Exist and Get Right to try and do some damage in a 2v4.
Yeah, they haven't invested much into this round. It is one that's just looking as a cleanup for this T side where they can make a bit of extra cash, and well, the CTs will try and stop them from doing just that. But so far 5-0. The money on the T side is already ludicrous. You can see 13,800 on Despe. Even has that AWP in hand as well, which is just going to add insult to injury, and this is already a scary start. But the buy, it's on the board again for NiP. They have the money behind them. Draken on the AWP is definitely going to be a huge factor in this game. He's one player, even in his Epsilon days, I think was very, very good on this map. And I think he's going to need to be. And again, they're just running straight out. Paz has got the same kill.
Paz is insane. Calyx is there to trade and Exists able to get 1, but it's going to be quickly countered on out. Now, Draken fighting for his life, going to just go under the radar and be straight down and out. Forrest next to full, get right on the rotate round, does find some damage on a Calyx, but it's going to be tagged to a mere 22 HP. Make that 3 HP as the nades rain in. Pushing up through the smoke into the waiting arms of Major. He will go down. Space Soldiers currently find themselves 6-0 up. The timeout looking like it could already be called on in.
Yeah.
Okay, so at NiP, yeah, they need to, you know, they haven't hit the ground running. Starters, you mean to go on for Space Soldiers, just meaning that it's going to be decimation from here on in. They're very confident. Zontara is someone that we see on this map time and time again, worm his way through in a drop down and then just be the thorn in their side, execute out onto either one of the sites and just having him there. It is so tricky to have to deal with if you're NiP. You have to have someone constantly watching drop. He's so versatile because he can make his way between both A and B, depending on where the rest of the team go. And even if you don't use him to find any sort of opening frag, just the pressure he represents, the fact that you can't rotate a player out of connector if he's in drop down, means that the rotates are that much slower. And let alone, you know, the fact that Zontara is an amazing aimer and very, very talented at the game. So he can very easily use that position just to execute any players trying to rotate between the 2 bomb sites. So NiP are going to find themselves in a bad way. And the first thing they really have to try and figure out how to contend with is keeping Zontara's and the rest of Space Soldiers out of drop.
Yeah, I think the big thing as well about the last couple of rounds is if you say you look at the scoreboard, you are going to be looking at Calyx and Zontara's. They're the big ones. But from impact alone, Paz, he's just running out. And it may just look like, okay, he's getting a 1-for-1 trade. That is so much more vital than you realize because it takes all presence away from other positions on the map. It gives players room to play. It gives drop down away because if somebody's just running straight out the broken wall, you have to react to that. The AWP has to be homed in. Freiburg was dead before he could even do anything. And I think the round before it was actually Exist playing there. So they even tried to switch things on the fly, have somebody different there. It just doesn't work. It's such an annoyance for him to do something like that. And actually, NiP, they're not even buying in this round. They're actually saving again, trying to get a better buy on the board once more. Not really surprised by that, of course, but they probably could have invested a little bit more into this. We've seen some UMP buys come out in the past, and, well, Get Right's going to have one. That's extra $600 for him, at least in this round, and they actually have the man advantage for never mind.
Yeah, well, there's no counting Zentares, who just decimates the forces. Draken with the dirty dig over towards platform, gonna fall at the first hurdle, gets completely beheaded, and now we're going to see Space Soldiers 7-0 up. They are looking phenomenal. The buy going to be coming in from NiP. I mean, currently, between them, they have less kills than Calyx, who's top of the board for Space Soldiers. Same amount as Zentares. So it's not looking too great for the Swedes. Exist going to be buying up the Auto Sniper, the foolproof way of quadrupling your stats, as he looks to try and keep NiP in this one. 3 players for them over towards B. Once again, we've got Zentares over towards drop down, just being that thorn in their side. I imagine we're going to see him focus on that later on, as the rest of Space Soldiers now turn their attention over to long. And Draken is here with the AWP. He has Get Right to try and back him up when the push comes in. Zentares going to be tagged just a little bit in through the smoke, but now the push coming in through long. Over here towards A. Major first man on the scene, just going to completely annihilate Get Right. Draken misses the most crucial trade of his life, because now he looks to fall on back within the site. He's got to try and hold these players back, and Major in through the smoke, going to combine with Paz, do the damage. Major still going in. He's going to find himself a second on to exist. This A bomb site comes crumbling down around them. Zentares still in the back line, can come in for the flank, and Forrest and Freiburg just going to have to save.
This is actually scary. Just watching NiP crumble in every single scenario we've seen so far. It's not even like intense strategy coming out from Space Soldiers where they're mind gaming their opponents and pulling out rotations. They pushed A. That was pretty much it. They threw some nades at the beginning, and they had Zentares making a little bit of noise, so it's not as basic as it seems, but at the moment it just looks like man for man they're winning every single duel. Forrest, he's trying his best. He's trying to stay alive, keep a weapon into the next round, but he is surrounded. No matter how many he takes with him, he will be falling. And I don't think they're going to have too many problems with their money over on the Space Soldier side.
Tom, you mentioned it was, man for man, they're doing more damage. Right now it's looking like man to machine as Space Soldiers, 2 of their players in particular, the 2 players you would want to be turning up in a situation like this, Calyx and Zentares, doing phenomenal stuff, top of the board, 26 frags between them, and we're only 9 rounds in. So once again, Space Soldiers going to have almost everyone over towards B early on. They actually now send Despe back to watch any aggression out through mid. Now Draken's the only player who resides up towards this A bomb site, as NiP try to take the gamble and stack everyone over here towards this B bomb site. And Space Soldiers looking like they might try pushing on in. I'm just going to be waiting, baiting out that utility from NiP before they go for any sort of commitment in towards this B-bomb site. It looks like drop's going to be the first area they try and focus on, as utility rains on in at Freiburg and Get Right here to try and hold this back. That Molotov going to present their presence. Actually, they throw a molly of their own to counteract the push just yet, so they will be able to take the duels with Zentares and Calyx as they look to try and challenge for crucial drop-down control. The bomb's actually be rotating back over towards mid, though, leaving a lot of pressure on Draken to try and hold this back. Get Right's here as well with a UMP of his own, but they're not in positions to trade whatsoever.
A fake drop. I like it. Attempting to bait in the CTs, but they're not falling for it whatsoever. They're going to throw in a little bit more utility, but on the other side of the map, already we've seen that opening. And now things, look, it's just the change once again. It allows Zentares to drop. Not going to get the kill this time, though. Forrest will be able to counter the man who's been on point so far. And actually, they've taken down Calyx as well, but so far it doesn't seem to matter. They've got the site to themselves. The rotation will be in, but all this utility is just being used to hold them out of the site. Forrest has managed to cross, but he's not going to last very long, as Paz will finish him off. And now the remaining 2 players just trying to find some sort of opening. They don't have much utility to play with, and they also don't have a kit.
And as they walk in, they just get decimated. They don't even set foot within the site. The only player who does makes his way in as a dismembered corpse falling out through balcony. Everyone else annihilated on that retake. Space Soldiers 9-0 up. Tom, me and you plan to have about an hour on this game, and right now it's looking like it could take about 25 minutes. Space Soldiers, a phenomenal performance from them. And NiP, where the hell are they? This doesn't look like anything we'd expect to see from what was, one of the super teams of Sweden. Now we're going back a while, to be calling them that since, I'd say like 2015, they've looked like a shadow of their former self. But still, I mean, everyone I think expected even a little bit more, even a pulse from NiP. But they do just look to be stone cold dead. And you know, all attempts for them to try and make their way back into this haven't gone their way. The pause going to be called in once again. But at this point, if you're NiP, what can you do?
Well, the thing is, some of the changes that they've made, I don't think have been bad. Like, for example, they threw a lot of utility at the beginning of the round to stop Paz running out as he had on B. The problem is, well, for example, that round, they didn't even have a full buy, really. They had a lot of UMPs, and it just seemed that, again, they got picked apart by the range game of these rifles, trying to get back into the site. They didn't have much utility left because they're expending it so much at the beginning of the rounds, and by the looks of it, it just seems that Space Soldier have their number on this map. It's not, I potentially say this is even Space Soldier's best map. It's one of them for sure. They absolutely love to play it, and at the moment, you can see it.
Yeah, it isn't necessarily their most played map, but I would definitely make the argument that it is their best, especially just in the individual performances we see them have on it time and time again. And usually when the vetoes go their way perfectly, this is the map we see them end up on. So now as they push it over towards drop once again, coming on in, it's Calyx and Paz, but this time they finally get punished by Exist, who gets himself to Forest coming up, just going to roast in the fire and flames, decides to take the easy way out instead of watching his team get cut down before his very eyes. And Tara's coming on in, Exist still fighting for his life, got himself 3, going to go for the 4th. And now it's all on Despe. Finally deals with Exist, but Draken on the flank does put him down, and that's going to be NiP to find their first round on the CT side. But they can't have Exist 4K every round. At least they finally dealt with that aggression in towards B, and this could be a path paved to them getting a couple more on their CT side.
I'm pretty sure without even looking at the chat, I can so it probably says rip the 16-0 dream, but at least that's something for the NiP fans. Harry, they're not going to get 16-0, don't worry. But they need a big change. They brought the auto sniper back in. Exist got destroyed last time he tried to use it, but it was in an attempt to retake the A site. Whereas over towards B, especially with the amount of smokes they're actually throwing onto plat, it could work very, very well. Now, I'm saying could because I'm very skeptical at this point, just by the way that Space Soldiers have been playing. But so far, they've run into no resistance. So now, a round on the board, after a pause as well, hopefully this will be the resurgence of the Swedes.
As you said, they've not really run into any resistance, but this time they could be... Oh, I was going to try and come up with a rhyme. Something to do with existence.
Yeah, if Existence was playing, that would be perfect.
I know.
But it's not.
Yeah, but Exist, you know, it's got a little snippet of his name in there. Anyway, as they line up outside the B bomb site, Smokes and Flash are going to raid on in. It's the wall of smokes cutting the site in two. But Exist, he's going to be cutting Space Soldiers down before he gets completely annihilated. Draken and Freiburg find themselves 2 between them and turn it into a 2-on-3. But Major's pushed up on the site. They can be boosting play up towards Tree, but Despe is quicker on the trigger. Get Right going to hit the deck. And now it's all on Freiburg. 1v2 to try and clutch this out. Bomb is going to be able to towards the site, but Freiburg is going to find the first. Turns it into the 1-on-1. Major has the bomb, playing it around the site, but Freiburg's not done just yet. Gets himself the 3rd. That's the hat trick for him. And this could be the resurgence from NiP. Exist stepping it up in the last couple of rounds. Freiburg doing the same. Money still going to be... oh, Get Right with the P90 buy. Never mind. Look at him go.
Don't like it. Why? Hey, where's he going to be playing? That's the most important thing. Where's he at least going to take this weapon? It looks like he's going over to long A. So we may not even get to see it, because they're going to run out straight B. It's instant. It's Paz. He's standing right next to someone, hasn't spotted him. Zontara's already going to be going out this time. He's avoided drop. He's pushing straight out with the rest of his team. Back to basics for Space Soldiers, and looks like it's working so far.
Yeah, they're boosting Tires up on top of Tree to try and spot these players rotating in, and the wall of smokes is there, and he's just going to find them all, gets himself 4, going for the ace. Freiburg finally shuts him down, but now finds himself with 13 HP and a bucket full of dreams. Sadly, he's just going to let his dreams be dreams as he rotates out of the B bomb site to go and save this AK into the next round. There's no money left for NiP. Space Soldier's going to arrive at a 10th, and they're going to be heavily relying on Freiburg with this Catalyst rifle into the next round.
I feel like in that round, Zontara's just basically said, nah, I'm bored of drop. I feel like going plat for once, and he just kills everyone. Almost getting the ace as well. Freiburg's so very low, it was close to just a sheer decimation round from Zontara's, but just ridiculous, and he is clearly the best player in the server at the moment, just the impact that he is having, but it's not like anybody on his team at least is too far behind. Looking like we are going to see a force buy come out. Freiburg, I think, dropping a couple of UMPs, or at least something, waiting for Forrest to give his rifle back. 10-2. Again, this is a 4-spy round. If they don't win this one, they're back to ecos, and then it really could go 13-2 from there, and it's not changing. Straight out again. Paz, he's got no fear. Maybe he should have a little bit, as 2 players already dropped. The Swedes have the advantage.
Yeah, there's still 3 members of Space Soldiers out here towards platform, though. The push going to be coming in from Exist. Freiburg just decimating players on the push in the blink of an eye. It is all on Major, and Draken's not done just yet. Jumps up on towards Plat and goes hunting. Major will go down as NiP pick themselves up a 3rd. And now at this point, Space Soldiers' economy finally on the brink of being ruptured, but 14 rounds in, I mean, Space Soldiers only just having to deal with some economic issues, and even then, it's more going to affect them into the last round of the half if they lose this one, and that's still a big if. NiP not looking too great either in terms of their money. This round is so important. Whoever picks it up gets themselves 2 for 1, essentially. And for Space Soldiers, that's amazing. For NiP, it's necessary. 3-10 right now. Their hopes of making it to the minor fading away from them here as the scoreline's very, very unbalanced and in favor of Space Soldiers, and already 4 players for Space Soldiers down over here towards long. Draken going to be posted up over here along with Get Right once again. The 2 players who have been holding this A-bomb site as best they can. Both players with very little utility between them. Indicative of the entire team, actually. And the bomb are going to be rotating back over towards this B-bomb site. It's worked time and time again for Space Soldiers. Why not? Centaur is already down in drop. Just going to dispatch to Freiburg. And now there's no one inside of B to hold back the coming tide of Space Soldiers players.
Yeah, they went for a bit of a gamble over towards that A site. Instead, they're losing, well, pretty much every single player that tries to rotate back in. Zontares for a little bit more and just holding them out at the moment. He can just hit headshots for days, and it leaves Draken nowhere near the action again. This rifle may just be worth saving. Not really worth trying to damage the Space Soldiers' economy. A 1 versus 5, highly unlikely. I'd say impossible at this point. And
yeah,
in terms of the money next round,
like,
ooh.
yeah, I was going to say, the one silver lining about Draken being able to save is that he can drop a rifle over to someone else, so they'll have 2 rifles into the next round, which isn't that bad. Still, though, I mean, 5 players surviving for Space Soldiers. If they'd lost 3 even, buying up into this next round would have been a little bit more difficult. They would have been very restricted in terms of their utility. But they managed to keep 5 players alive. NiP not getting anything done. And it's sad to say, but that seems to be a bit of a reoccurring theme. As you said, I mean, I'm a big fan of NiP. I remember the glory days. I think everyone does. And that's why it hurts so much to see them in situations like this where, let's just put this in perspective. A couple of years ago, it would have been unheard of to have not expected NiP at the major. Right now,
even legends,
they might not even. Yeah.
Last year,
and now they might not even make it to the minor. And well, stacking up outside of B early on, it's Space Soldiers once again. This has somewhat been their home turf. Get Right looking like he might try pushing up through mid. They leave Major prepared, ready to watch for this exact flank to come on in. And as he sprays bullets downrange, the only advantage here to Get Right is that he knows now not to go pushing. He knows that there's at least 1 player watching. 1 minute 20 left, though. Space Soldiers with plenty of time on the clock. They've had no trouble getting out towards this B-bomb site. This time, NiP, they've gone and put 4 players here with Draken over towards Connector. You can quickly rotate between both A and B from that position. Get Right being so far forward gets the information on the rotates early on, so it does work out. But it looks like Space Soldiers, they're dedicated out towards this B-bomb site yet again as Calix and Centaurus try to play for drop control.
Well, they're going to be getting it. There's players waiting outside at least to try and hold them in. It's all UMPs though, and Centaurus doubles down. Already, this site looking weaker and weaker. We will have the rotation in from Get Right. Draken and Exist will be able to at least trade a couple back, but it's still the advantage. At least 1 more. Maybe Get Right can actually hold on to this. He knows there's a player in from behind, or at least he should. He will hear the drop. And Major trying to run away. Will he get caught with this bomb once again? He did in the last round. Straight through the door. Get Right gets him. And that should be the round in their favor. Despe, the last one alive. He's got 15 seconds left on the clock. And the bomb still just sat on the floor. There shouldn't be any hope for him left in this round, even just to get to a site. So as long as NiP stay alive, they will have themselves a 4th.
Yeah, right, just waiting into the crosshair. Despe comes. He picks the bomb up before he goes down. NiP, they're going to go ahead and find themselves a fourth, which at least gives them a 1-round buffer if that pistol round doesn't go their way. Now, that is not much to work with, but we've seen NiP have much closer comebacks. We've also seen them have much bigger losses. So, it's still very
like
much
yesterday.
anyone's game at this point. Yeah, like yesterday. We will be seeing them buying up just armor across the board. That suggests to me we're just going to see them go for a rush play here, not opt to take things slowly. They don't really have the utility to do that. And actually, they sent 4 players out towards mid. Perhaps we are going to see them hit this A bomb site. There's only 1 player here in the form of Calyx. Space Soldiers making the decision to stack everyone over towards this B bomb site. Get right, playing it solo over here at B. And Calyx, well, he's playing it very, very passively in towards A. The rotates have to be very, very reactive. They can't do anything too proactively if NiP do decide to hit this A bomb site. And as they make their way in through long, I think maybe they've made the decision to rotate back over towards B, which is to their dismay. Currently, Space Soldiers with 4 players stacked up here. They are going to be walking into the most stacked site. And it looks like they've only got 3 ninjas to do it with in the first place.
Yeah, this looks like quite a mind game strategy, in fact. It looked from the beginning that they were actually going to just have the rotations held by the players in drop. The bomb does look to be making its way back towards this A site. This is probably due to the amount of control they've already been able to take, but Space Soldiers are just sitting pretty. They're happy for the T's to just run around the map and clear angles while they sit back. And, well, now they've spotted. That's the bomb. They'll know that this is going to be over towards the A hit. However, players in drop at least doing something, but it's still going to come out with a CT advantage. And Major, he's already picked up that kit.
Yeah, retake going to be underway out towards this A bomb site, and that's if they can even get the bomb down. Draken going to have it on his back, currently pinned down behind SWAT, trying to cross to the site, doing some damage at least, going to find himself 1v3, gets 2, looking for the third. Tataris is there, he's going to go down. It's all on Paz, who comes in on the flank, and Draken trying to clutch this out, trying to keep NiP in this, but Paz, not one to give them the opportunity, just completely annihilates him on the peak, decapitates the lone Draken, the last hope for NiP in that pistol round, and it will be the round to go the way of Space Soldiers. Picking up the pistol could well be the last nail in the coffin here for NiP, who will now be forced buying down into this round. Their days very much numbered. They've got to try and keep themselves in this. They've only got that 1-round buffer if they lose these first 2 on the back of losing that pistol.
Yeah, crunch time. Draken, after getting 3 in the previous round, will be able to buy himself a UMP. They've got 1 smoke, which is likely to be thrown onto the door just to try and hold off any sort of rotations from this CT side. But they've already got 2 players waiting. Major going to be playing the longer range angle with the 1 rifle that they currently have. And as all of the players come rushing onto him, he's going to know he's going to give the call. But so far, he hasn't been able to do too much. Calyx doing a bit more damage than his teammate has done. And so many low players currently sit around on this NiP side of things. Draken will be able to finish off 1 at least, bringing it into a 2 versus 2. And even picking up a little bit more, but he's got to go aggressive. 1 more for him, and it's all on this flank from Despe.
Yeah, looking to try and be the linchpin of Space Soldiers now. Exist is over at mid. He's going to hear this from a mile away as Despe comes running on in. He's got to check the close angle. Exist just waiting, lets him cross and lines up that nice, easy headshot that not even a ninja could miss. It's going to be 5-12. As they do go ahead and answer straight back. Now, that's exactly what they needed to do over on the T side here. We should be seeing the force spike coming in from Space Soldiers, but at the same time, it somewhat makes sense for them to just go ahead and concede 1. But now they are going to opt to go aggressively into this. Force buying down. Despe and Calyx electing not to. Just seeing if they can make something happen on the back of these Catalyst pistol players. Major up over towards long, already going to do the damage on a Get Right, who just hits the floor immediately on the peak. Does find some damage on a Major at least, but now he's falling back over here towards A. They're dedicated up towards A ramp, but Centaur is holding the cross with a D, going to go out. Finds himself 1, swinging out wide with a UMP, takes 2. Major comes in for the 3rd, and now it's all on Draken once again. He's had to clutch time and time again, but he's done the damage. He finds himself now 1v3. He's got Major on the flank, tagged down to a mere 20 HP. 3 players for Space Soldiers all over here towards this A ramp, holding the bombs. And Tara is watching the corner, and Draken just going to get guillotined in his clutch. 5-13 as Space Soldiers go ahead and answer straight back.
It didn't even fully force. It's just unbelievable. There's some of these rounds that they're able to pull off. Zantares with 3 kills in that being a big part of it, but that is a round that NiP should never be losing, and it is really looking like they're in a sort of turmoil situation. They're going to force into this one, go for a quick setup, something we've seen a lot in this game so far. And maybe they can do as well, but the nade already doing a lot of damage. They've got a little bit stuck. Zantares playing more passively than his, well, opponents on the other side did. It will be trades across the board, but it's still going to be the CT side winning things out. Calyx even with a dunk at the end. 14-5. No money for NiP. And I think this is getting close to the end.
I mean, just look at it, right? Zantares nearly on 30 frags. He's 27-13 right now. He wants this spot in the minor. NiP, they want it as well. And as we've said time and time again, these guys used to be legends. This was the team that had, what, the largest match win streak in CS history. You know, I mean, not this exact roster, obviously. But, you know, these were the guys that it was unthinkable for them to have never attended a major. And their fall from grace, their slow descent into madness has been one that has been, you know, riddled with a couple of roster changes here and there. And I think some people would like to see them, you know, make more roster changes than they did. They just never really made it back to the same level of success as we saw a couple of years ago. Yeah, I mean, right now there isn't, you know, I mean, really, there's no Swedes to write home about, which is a sentence that I never thought I would say.
At least not.
It's unthinkable.
Very, very top.
Now,
so yeah.
Yeah. Now you look to the Danes instead to be bringing the top talent. The Swedes somewhat falling off, and I don't know if that's because, you know, Swedish kids maybe become complacent. They know that they're the best in the world, or at least they thought they did, and now that's all been called into question.
UK uprising coming soon, because we all know how bad we are.
That's never going to happen. That's the worst thing we don't.
When you
they
know
still
you're
think we're good.
You play bad, and when you know you're bad, you play good. So, no.
If that were true, we would have the best teams in the world. But into this one anyway, Tom. An important round here for NiP. They are going to be force buying down what they can. 3 players over towards long. Get right and exist, waiting with the bomb over at B. They're looking to try and pull off a bit of a fake, and already Draken's gone down. They've lost that man advantage. They're now going to be rotating back, and the issue with this is it doesn't sell a fake at all. All it's done is hand that man advantage over to Space Soldiers. They might have 3 players over at A, but when you look at it, we've still got Despe and Zantares over here towards this B bomb site. I really want NiP to try and pick a couple more rounds up and make this more competitive, but Space Soldiers, they've been playing phenomenally well, and you've got to give it to them. So as we see NiP just waiting outside of the B-bomb site, get right about to push in towards drop. The 3 players now tasked with trying to make their way out long. They're going to look to collapse on him, but Despe's already just going to go ahead and decapitate 2 over towards long. Make that 3. He's not done just yet. Doing the damage on it to get right, but it's Zantares to pick the frag up. NiP just decimated there, and that's going to be Space Soldiers to arrive at match point.
Could you imagine a day saying that combined Get Right and Forest have less kills than Major, the in-game leader for this team? They're just not even on the map at the moment. It's so weird to see them in this sort of form. I know it's been there for a while, but not normally both at the very same time. It is just not an occurrence. Zantares going for the peak. Gonna take a lot of damage. They're trying this aggressive push once again, but he's fallen back. Takes 2, make it a 3rd. This game is over. 4 for Zantares. There's only 1 left. Calyx will finish a 16-5. They managed 1 better than they did yesterday, but they have been obliterated.